Hello, I'm back again with another card. Christmas card this time, probably more than one. That's the plan anyway. I had an idea for these little teeny tiny Christmas cards, Christmas trees, sorry, that I had from Gummy Pan. Ended up with two, lucky me. I think that was a mistake, but I had two, so I'm very thrilled. So I've cut out lots of little gold trees, and my idea was to use a bauble die. I'll show you the die in a second, and to put little trees across the middle, so it's sort of a white on white with a touch of gold. So that was the idea. Let's move that out of the way. The die that I've used is a Stamps by Me outline die. There are other companies that make them, and I have got an alternative for you if you don't have a bauble shaped die. There is an alternative that I will show you in as we go along. Then I thought, right, well, so what can we do with it? So we could do a nice plain one. I've got a card panel, and I thought that probably lifting it up on foam tape would be nice. I've got a UK A6 card, and I've cut it a bit smaller than I normally do. So I thought probably a bit of gold around the edge of the card might look rather nice. And then I thought little baubles, little trees even, right across the centre would look rather fun. And if you don't have trees, then you could use the alternative of some stars perhaps. You could do that. And then I thought, well, that's all right, but we could jazz it up a bit, couldn't we? So I put it through an embossing folder. I used this one. It's a Sizzix one, 3D, called Jeweled Snowflakes. And I lined it up. Let me show you what I did. So I had a look at the patterns. So I put the bauble in, spray it on the back, just mist it first. And then I lined it up onto that snowflake there, so that I got this. If I put snowflakes, oh my goodness, can't get my words out tonight, sorry. It's been a long day. The kitchen renovation's going on, but the plastering has proved to be a bit of a problem. The old plaster under the kind of newer stuff was largely sand actually. So he's had to take the whole lot off. The dust was unbelievable, but he had to take the whole lot off, and he's got to replaster. But then round part of it, we've got a problem because there's a difference in depth of the wall. So it's, anyway, they've got to think about it overnight, and they'll come back tomorrow and see what they can do. So it's been a bit of a long day, that's why I can't get my words out, so forgive me. If I use the wrong word, then you'll probably know what the right word is, and you just think, oh, she's off again. Right, so decorated, and then I thought those across there. Now, actually, I'm not overly keen. So I don't think I do want those little Christmas trees across there. I actually really quite like that on its own. I have got a Merry Christmas. It comes with a background, and I think I just looked on Amazon and looked up Merry Christmas die. So this one, I think that's where I got it from. But it's quite fine. So I thought actually just the Christmas word might work. And if I did a gold ribbon, and I had a little tester somewhere, I've put it. I tested out two different golds to see which would go best. a true gold, if you like. And then this one, actually, I think goes better with that. And this is a Spectrum Noir metallic paint marker. Just get some scrap paper and colour the ribbon, and I hope that it takes the colour. So this is called Champagne Gold. So the bauble doesn't have a hole in it, so just used a little hole doodah and lined it up towards the top and centralised it and just punched a hole. So I'm going to put a dab of glue on the front to hold it and on the back, like that. And then I'm going to put the ribbon through and stick it on the back, and then put it through and stick it there on the front. So this one is a Posca gold paint. Let's try this end and see what this looks like. It's funny, isn't it, how they take on a different colour on the different surface. I am filming this ahead of time. This will go out on on Monday, the 17th, I think, of November. But today is only Thursday. But I'm doing ahead of time because I'm going to the Indigo Blue weekend in Portsmouth, which I was excited about anyway, but I'm even more excited about it because I've now booked to stay the night at the hotel we're doing our weekend at, which means that I can escape the kitchen for a weekend. So I'm super excited. There we go. So we've done that. I won't put any on there until I've got some ribbon on. Let's see if that ribbon is now dry. No, it's not. We'll leave that a bit longer. Now, confession time. The Christmas. I cut this out a while ago and I thought I'd be very, very clever, and rather than losing the tittle for the eye, I'd leave it in the die. So I put these in the packet with the die and the tittle still stuck in. I thought, brilliant, I won't lose it. Well, I got it out of the packet and then thought, oh, there's a bit of card still in there. Poke. Well, where that's gone, who knows? So I lost it. And I thought, oh, I realised what I'd done. Anyway, on the floor, I thought I'd found it, and I found a little tiny dot. I turned it, it was up the wrong way. I thought, oh, is that gold on the other side? No, of course it wasn't. So I can use that, but it's not the right colour. I'll have to colour it with my pen. Honestly, me and dots. What is it? Anyway, yeah, so I did poke it out just to the side where I was working, but no, it went somewhere. Went on its happy, merry way, it did. Anyway, right, so I think we will have to go with this colour. So let's do the same thing again. Just debating if if I did some gold around the edge, whether I should do this one or that one. Let's just go back to this. I did that. So I either match that or I match that, don't I? Let's do this. Let's be bold. If it looks terrible, then I'll go over it with the other one, or I will use a different panel. So we've got panel, we've got bauble, and we've got Christmas. So if I do a little bit of that over there, scissors, there they are. Chop that off. I'm just going to go up each side first, actually. Oh, stuck to me. And then a wee bit at the top. There we go. It is a beautiful embossing folder, it really is. Right, I think we'll do that. So I'm not going to glue that on this side, I'm just going to glue it on this side. So let's try and centre that. Tell you what, that would be a cunning plan, wouldn't it? Let's just take the backing off. I have taken my horrid red nail varnish off, and I've cut my nails, so now I can't grip anything because they're short. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Christine Stokes is amazing at using her tweezers for these. Bit of glue stick on the back, just in case I need a bit of manoeuvrability time. Okay. So let's just pop that Christmas on there. Tweezers. There we go, that's better. I can see what I'm doing now. I'm just trying not to put it down because I've got the glue on the back. Let's be safe and move that out of the way just in case I do accidentally. Right, so Christmas there, bauble about there, I think. Right, let's see if we can get you in the middle and level. So stick that down there. Do you know what? I think I'll put it a bit lower down. Oh, come on. Right, that's on now. So let's just try and, sorry, to tip it towards me to vaguely see what I'm doing. There. Right, one bauble. Now then, for the Christmas. It's on a sticky tape. So let's try and get it fairly central on the... Doesn't want to let go of my tweezers now. Goodness sake. Right, come on you. You need to behave. There. Now I have got those pesky, hairy, whisker bits around there. Not whiskey, whisker. Might need a whiskey after this. Oh, I don't drink whiskey actually. I'm strictly a wine girl. Right, there we are. Now, no, I thought I'd pick the tittle up, but I didn't. Come here. Right, let's just... Thank you. Let's make you the right colour. Do you know what? I think I might do it now before I before I lose it. Let's put a little bit of glue on there. The other thing that could be done is a little dot of Nouveau Drop or something like that, or Perfect Pearls or whatever you've got that's the right colour. It's not perfect colour, but it's not far off. It's going to have to do. Right, so it's one card done. Now, when I was thinking about what can I do to jazz it up, I remembered that I had bought from Kenilworth, from Miser Print, this die. Well, when I say die, it sort of just embosses into the... And it did that. So, because you would get an edge if you just ran it all the way through, I sort of ran it 3/4 of the way through, because you can see the difference here where I didn't. Oh, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Let me have a look. Whether you can, yes, you can see that line across there. So that's what you get if you run it all the way through. But if you stop almost to the edge, then you don't get that line. So, and I thought, oh, that looks really nice. And that might go with my little trees. So I'm going to try that. Now, whilst I'm talking about it, this is the alternative. So if you don't have a bauble die, do a circle, cut another circle and punch a hole out of it, and then just attach that on the back, and Bob's your uncle, you've got a bauble. So that is the alternative if you don't have a bauble die. So a ways around most things, let's be honest. So I'm going to punch my hole again like I did before, so central and towards the top. There we go. That's that. I will try and list these things down in the description if you're not sure what they're called. That one's called Dissolving Dots, but I will list it. The little tree was Gummy-a-Pan, and stars I actually cut out from this Craftaddictionuk UK set, which is either called Slatted Stars or called All the Stars. I can't remember, but it's one or the other. So I will list these things for you in the description. Let's see how this one looks with my little trees. So what I thought was just lining the little trees along here. As I say, stars are an alternative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go for an odd number, it's easier to kind of line up the centre one. So 1, 2, 3, centre, 1, 2, 3. And then it looks like it's snowing onto the Christmas trees. So, do I want them a little bit lower down? Maybe I do. Yeah, I might even do that. Right, I'm back again, and I'm sorry that I didn't film everything. I tried my little trees in a row and decided I didn't really like it. So what I've ended up doing is I'm doing them in kind of 2 rows. So they're offset from each other, and I think it looks rather better. So I'm just doing the last bit sticking down. I had whilst the builders had gone, my husband and son were around and there was noise, so there might be a certain amount of noise. They're actually doing the washing up after supper, and I'm filming, so I'll get the good deal on that front, that's for sure. So I think that looks better than all in a line, especially as this kind of looks like it's the snow falling on the trees. So I decided that looks better. I've also taken my pen round the edge of the card, so that's going to do that. I will do some more. Now that's dry, I don't want to use that. I could do. And then I thought I'd use the word Merry on there. So I've used my Merry Christmas, but I've used them separately because they won't all fit on with the bauble as well. Let's get some foam tape on there. Also, whilst I was away and didn't film, sorry, I'll show you this. This was the alternative one if you haven't got a bauble. So it's got the circle and the other circle, and I've just glued them together like that. And I just put some stars along, so another alternative way of doing it. So that could equally sit on there with foam tape underneath and some ribbon. So perhaps I should carry on with that ribbon actually. And then that would be our third card. So let's just finish this. So foam tape, let's do that. Right, I'm back again, and I've just stuck the little bauble down, having put the ribbon on like I showed you before. I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the back of here to secure the ribbon. Take that over the top, like that. There we go. Then I've got my Merry, so let's see if the back will come off that all right. A bit more there, and I think there's a bit more there. Oh, distinct lack of fingernails now. Come on. There we go. Got it. Right, so tweezers. And we'll try and get that in the middle. About there, I think. So I'm looking at the widest, you know, the gap there and the gap there, trying to get that about right. Try that. And a few wispy bits there, which is annoying, so we'll just try and scrape those off. Should have done my toothbrush trick, shouldn't I? Not too late, probably. There we are, better. So that's another card done. So that can go on its front there, like that. And I'll bring them all in to show you in the end. And then this one, I've just cut Noel out of this set, which I have used once before when I did my little Christmas tree. It's called Decorative Type 664477. Again, I'll link it below. And that's going to sit on there. And those are going to sit on their ruler. And I will just sit them down something like that. So the way round, if you've not got the bauble shaped die, then create your own. And then jazz them up with some embossing. You could stencil and use some, what's it, paste? Dimensional paste. Couldn't you on there? Would look rather nice. So the background, you could stencil on the background or emboss the background. But I did think I could possibly have used that. That again, I could have used that on one of the backgrounds, but I haven't. Not this time anyway. So I'm just going to stick that down. If ever you think you've got too much glue, just dab it off onto some scrap. And then hopefully you won't get that squidging out business going on. A bit of glue on the back of there. Down there. By the time I've done this, hopefully all the washing up will be done. And I'll have escaped some chores. Lucky me. And tomorrow night we're not eating at home anyway. We're going out for dinner because we're going to the theatre. So that will be fun. And then the next night I shall be in Portsmouth for the Indigo Blue weekend. All of which will have happened after I filmed this, but before you get to see it. So it's all a bit backwards, isn't it? Right, so there's that one done. Now I'm just debating about whether to put foam tape. I think I won't, because one layer of foam tape will go through the post in this country, but 2 layers will not. And when you have lots of Christmas cards to send out, then that's tricky. Although this year I might well do fewer Christmas cards and a larger charity donation, but we'll see. I'm probably not meant to say that, am I, as a card maker? How are we doing? Is that straight? That's not bad. Right, 1. And to... So we've kind of got variations on a theme, haven't we, here? And as I've said before, use what you've got and find a way, kind of make it work. And if you haven't got the right colour ribbon, colour it, as I did. But if you use metallics, just test it out on the ribbon before you commit, because as we found out at the beginning, the colour can look quite different than when compared to when it's on paper or card. There we are. Round we go, and on there, let's just line that up. There we go, I think that's pretty good. Lid on there. Clear the decks. And then let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got one Christmas, one Merry. Sorry about the bits. And one Noel. I'm just going to make sure I'm in shot. I will do a photo of them afterwards as well. There we are. 3 different looking Christmas cards. Same but different, shall we say. With the bauble die and with our own homemade bauble option. So there are ways around these things. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And 3 cards are definitely better than 1, aren't they? Anyway, do take care. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.